Get you right to him. Welcome back. Thom Hartmann here with you. President Biden, overseas talking about the methane plan. This is a good step. You'll recall Leo DiCaprio and I made 2 movies about methane. One called Last Hours. It's on YouTube. The other's called It's on Fire, the Ice and Frozen Methane, which was a feature-length movie that showed up in theaters. And this is a big deal. Methane is a very, very, very potent. It's 80 times more effective as a greenhouse gas than carbon dioxide. And we've got oil wells all over this country that are just sitting there leaking methane constantly. And we're doing very little about it. Also, of course, Joe Manchin yesterday threw a monkey wrench and said he's not going to be voting, or implied that he's not going to be voting the reconciliation bill. And that the more Congress delays on passing the Republican version, the Republican joined version of an infrastructure bill, the more pissed off he's going to get and the less reluctant he's going to be to do it. So here you got Joe Manchin actually threatening progressives in Congress. The progressives are pushing back. Cori Bush saying, Joe Manchin did not get to dictate the future of our country. I do not trust his assessment of what communities need the most. I trust the parents in my district who can't get to their shift without child care. I trust the scientists who've shown us what our future will look like if we fail to meaningfully address the climate crisis. I trust the parents and doctors crying out for comprehensive health coverage for every person in America. We can't spend next year saying the House did its part, now it's the Senate's turn. We need the Senate to actually get this done, she said. Ilhan Omar also said it's time to call Manchin's bluff by pushing the reconciliation measure and a bipartisan bill through the House. Amen. Get them to the floor of the Senate and get out. So, anyhow, picking up your phone calls. Nick in Huntington, West Virginia, speaking of Joe Manchin. Hey, Nick, what's on your mind?
Yes, I've called his office today. The first time I've been able to get through all this. And I don't understand. They've cut. And one of the things they cut is teeth up here. It's ridiculous. He needs to get on board. And then his daughter, I think he's in the pocket of the pharmaceutical companies. His daughter did the EpiPen. I don't want the major media mentioning this stuff.
Yeah. She testified before Congress that her last year's salary was $18 million. They're sitting pretty. And by teeth, you meant the dental care in Medicare that Joe Manchin objects to. Why doesn't he want people over 65 in West Virginia to have dental care? I don't understand. What's the upside for him in this?
A kickback, I guess. What I mean, because we need all that health care.
Yeah.
It just befuddles me. We got 2 people holding up progress for millions of Americans. A union working American like me, I just don't understand.
Yeah, it is pretty bizarre. Nick, thanks a lot for the call. Mike in Baltimore. Hey, Mike, what's on your mind?
Hi, Tom. First, I want to say thank you so much for your initial comments on Donald Trump and why they aren't in jail. I've been saying it from the time that it happened. I'm a truck driver, so being on this CB is a constant thing. Now, here's a question for you, because I think a lot of people are confused, and I'll lead up to Joe Manchin with this. Critical race theory that they're talking about, that's not taught in any elementary school. One, Democrats have failed on the
law school course.
On that. Exactly. My point with this is, does critical race theory teach systematic, or it's another type of way form how racism impacts today, right?
Yeah, well, it's essentially an analysis of how law has been shaped, evolved over the last 400 years, both common law and constitutional law in the United States, to favor white people.
Exactly. So now, here's where I'm going to go with this. The bipartisan infrastructure bill, I'm a truck driver, as I've said. I'm on these highways. I don't see a lot of black and brown men. There are some. 90% of the people that I see on these highways are white men. This bill helps white people in rural areas. If in order for you to pass this bill, you have to help everyone else out. So when you start stripping out from the BBB bill stuff that'll help black and brown people, isn't that a form of systematic racism?
Oh, sure. Sure. But I don't, I mean, the majority of people on Medicare are white. I still don't understand why Joe Manchin doesn't want them to have their teeth fixed.
Well, what good is it hear but not see?
Yeah.
Or see but not able to eat?
Exactly. Exactly, Mike.
Okay.
I mean, it's like...
Thank you, Tom.
Somebody's greasing somebody's palms, and the media is not talking about it. And frankly, I think it all goes back to Citizens United. But yeah, thank you, Mike. Very, very well said. Appreciate the call. Phyllis in Dallas, Texas. Hey, Phyllis, what's on your mind today?
Good morning, Tom. This is just a repeat of the young man who just called you. But I want to just thank you for your initial comment. There are African Americans who are sitting in their cars, their kitchens, and their churches who have been wondering why Donald Trump has been able to get away with killing so many people. This pandemic, it is as if he can get away with everything, and this is one of them that he should not get away with. So please keep the pressure on, because we're listening and we're trying to make our voices known, but we can do very little. Maybe those who are in the media who continue to talk about it, as you, could help. This is my first to call any show, but I just had to let you know. I applaud you and I thank you for bringing up that discussion this morning. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Phyllis. And by the way, the rant that I did on the air, I was, actually using as an outline for that rant an op-ed published this morning at HartmannReport.com. I also posted it on DailyKos.com, and both are free and ad as far as I know with Kos too. And so if you find those articles in either place, feel free to share them with everybody you know, because I think that we
definitely will.
We need to start a movement here. Thank you, Philip.
Yes. Thank you.
Great to hear from you. Kevin in Downers Grove, Illinois. Hey, Kevin, what's your Monday?
No, it's Kim.
Oh, Kim, I'm sorry.
Kevin's my husband.
Sometimes just glance at. My apologies. What's up?
That's okay. I've been called worse. I think that the reason, you know how you always talk about Medicare Advantage and how much money that's taking out of Medicare?
Right.
Well, Medicare Advantage offers dental, optical, and hearing.
Oh, so that's the reason that Joe Manchin doesn't want it, because his daughter, well, maybe his daughter isn't in the insurance business, but yeah, I get what you're saying. I'm sorry.
No, he's got to be buddies that have it. How many people have given him money for that?
Yep.
So, that's my conspiracy theory. I can't prove it, but it makes a lot of sense, and everything else he doesn't want to go through, like the pharma stuff.
Yeah, that's got to be the answer, actually. That's the only answer that makes any sense. Well, people in West Virginia can still get dental and hearing. All they have to do is sign up with, one of the health insurance companies for Medicare Advantage scam. Yeah. Kim, I don't know why that wasn't obvious to me. It's like sometimes.
That's because you have so many things you have to do, and I was sitting here. I'm retired, so it's like I'm just sitting here playing on my computer listening.
Yeah. Well, you nailed it. I'm certain that you nailed it.
Well, thank you.
Kim, thank you. Thank you. I tell you, we've got some of the best minds in the world listening to this program or watching this program. Thank you, Kim. Marilyn in Greenville, Georgia. Hey, Marilyn, what's on your mind today?
Hey, I'm doing okay. Got two things I wanted to talk to you about. One, if Trump was black, he would have been in jail by now.
Oh, yeah.
Two.
If Trump was black, he would have been in jail when he was 17 years old. He was such a bully and an ass. But anyhow, back to you, Marilyn.
Okay, the second thing. I text a couple of the people in the Congress today. I said, stop doing the carrots, start using the stick. I told Pelosi that this morning. I said, stop playing with these people. Because, first of all, for the money, where that money's coming from. This is all crooked stuff, and you know this.
Yeah.
Take the money out, corporate out of politics, and then we get it done.
Yeah, but the Supreme Court is what put that money into politics, and it's damn hard to get around the Supreme Court these days. They're the most powerful brand of government now.
Here's another thing I want to tell you. If corporations are people, why people be corporations?
Well, I think some people become corporations, essentially. This is how most billionaires don't pay any taxes at all, as they create small corporations. Corporations launder their money, basically. Jeff Bezos, for example, he's sitting on $200 billion. You know how he pays himself? You know how he covers his living expenses?
No.
He borrows it. He borrows money. He goes to the bank and he borrows money at a 0.25% or 0.5% against his billions of dollars of stock. He'll borrow, 10, 20, 30, $50 million. That's his walking around money. That's what he lives on throughout the course of the year. And he pays absolutely no taxes because it's borrowed money. And then he gets tax deduction for the interest on that money. He declared a total income last year of $80,000. That was it. And I think he did that because he claimed he was eligible for child tax credit. I mean, this is the kind of scam. So yeah, people become corporations for the purposes of taxation, and that's what's going on. Marilyn, thank you for the call. Charles, he's in Hamilton, Texas. Hey, Charles, what's up?
Hey, Tom, I know you're familiar with Hannah Arendt's book, The Rise of Totalitarianism.
I am.
And in that book, she says that the true constituent of the Nazi Party and the Communist Party is not the confirmed fascist or the confirmed communist, but rather the people who were so confused they could no longer tell the difference between what's right and wrong, between what's real and illusion.
Right.
Right? So I think that's what is happening in America today. We have so many people that have lost the ability to tell the difference.
You are absolutely right.
I was sitting in a local restaurant, and there was a group of people across the room from me, and they were talking about how evil the Democrats are and about how the Democratic Party wants to destroy America. And they went on to say that Joe Biden was a fascist and a communist, and that he wants to destroy the economy and destroy democracy in America.
Yeah, they're just airing the hate that comes to right-wing radio. It's really a tragedy, Charles. It really and truly is. That an entire ecosystem, 1,500 right-wing radio stations, over 200 right-wing television stations, 3 right-wing television networks, all promoting this idea that one of the 2 political parties is communist, socialist, evil. I mean, it's so sad. Charles, thank you for that. I mean, this is tearing our country apart. And they do it for profit, by the way.
You're listening to Thom Hartmann. To ThomHartmann.com for audio and video archives.
This whole hate and love Americans routine that the right wing does is very profitable. We'll be back. And welcome back. Morris in Long Beach, California. Hey, Morris, what's on your mind?
Hey, good morning, Tom. Listen, I want to talk to you about the Dino. Dino is a Democrat in name only.
Right.
Now, the Dinos have really put the bricks on the Build Back Better plan. They've just pretty much stripped it. But something that you said this morning that caught my attention. Pelosi and Schumer need to get together, get a select committee going, and just hammer home how the Republicans are trying to decimate democracy in this country. That's got to be the narrative. The Build Back Better thing, again, they've stripped it. The narrative is we've got to protect democracy as we know it today. And these guys are trying to tear it down. That's the only way we come out of this. The Confucianists, it's called the Confucianists. They're doing a great job. I was listening to some of the callers right now talk about the Democrats as the evil people. If you go on YouTube and look at some of the things that they're saying and showing, I'm like, man, how you guys relieve this in this country? But the thing we got to do right now, Tom, to get back to what I call you about, they got to get serious about having a select committee and get you a Joe McCarthy kind of spirit, a crazy Joe McCarthy kind of spirit, protecting and speak for democracy the same way they stand up for what they're talking about. I'm talking about Republicans. And that's all I want to say, Tom. I think you're on the money with the committee idea.
Yeah. Thank you, Morris. I'm with you. I'm completely with you. And you always hit it out of the park, Morris. Thank you. Gregory in Sure, California. Hey, Gregory, what?
Hey, Tom, how are you? I
Good.
have a simple question. Great. Can a state be stripped of its statehood? Meaning, if a state, is there any provision in the Constitution if a state repeatedly doesn't, go along with what the Fed rules are, or you just, like the thing in Texas?
Gregory, I may be wrong, but I don't think so. I think there is a provision in the Constitution for a state to remove itself.
Right.
Actually, I'm not even certain of that. I know that, to add a state requires, there's all kinds of hoops that you have to jump through to add a state. And I don't recall the specifics of that. My recollection is it requires a referendum in the state with some sort of a large supermajority, and then a supermajority in the House and Senate. Could be off on that. It's last time it happened, I was a little kid. That was Alaska and Hawaii in the 50s.
And then Hawaii, I remember that too. So you say once the state's a state, that's it.
But see, I don't, are you thinking of like, hey, get rid of Texas?
Well, not get rid of it, or is there anything? Yeah, I don't know if there's anything the Fed can do to states if they repeatedly, disavow.
I think we need to stop the poison, Gregory. I don't think the problem is Texas or the state of Texas, even the Texas state government. I think it's the right-wing media that is enabling people like Greg Abbott and Dan Patrick to do what they're doing on there, and the legislature.
I totally agree.
If we had 1,500 right-wing radio stations and all these Claire TV stations and Fox News and OAN and Newsmax and all that, this would not be happening. This did that. That's why this was not happening prior to the mid-'90s when all stuff came online.
I hear you.
We had a country where we had a shared understanding of what was politically real. We didn't have media out there that was literally promoting lies and fictions and things that were completely made up.
The caller nailed it about the blurring of illusion reality that Trump was able to do. People now are just like they're walking around totally confused and everything's turned around. What you were just saying from the day, you know.
Yeah. And it's not just Trump; it's the entire right media ecosystem. It's incredible. Yeah. Gregory, thanks for the call. Good to hear from you.
Of course, Tom.
Yep. Good talking to you. It's 51 minutes past the hour. We'll be back in just a second. Stick around. My opening rant today, it's usually published over at HartmannReport.com, where you can read it and share with your friends for free. Check it out, HartmannReport.com. Welcome back, 50 minutes past the hour. Mark in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Hey, Mark, what's up?
Hey, man, how's it going?
Good.
Hey, I just wanted to know, don't have the passion to go after, Republicans have the passion to go after Democrats.
Your phone is fading in and out. Did you just say you don't know why Democrats don't have the passion to go after Republican crimes?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know why either. I mean, you know, Bill Clinton, right? They went after him for what, 6 years? Ken Starr spent $70 million along with his assistant Brett Kavanaugh, who, by the way, showed up in that documentary. I think it's on Netflix or whatever it is about Monica. You know, it's called American Crime Story. Impeachment. Yeah. It was amazing. Ken Starr's got his little war room, his 3 or 4 guys who get Clinton, and who's there? Yeah. Brett Kavanaugh is saying, "Oh, we need to go after him for the BJ. That's what we need to do." And it turned out Brett Kavanaugh authored the most salacious parts of the Starr report. But anyhow, you know, Republicans, they had no problem spending $70 million in 6 years trying to take down Bill Clinton for having sex. No problem at all. This is, you know, killing 700,000 people, or, you know, at least intentionally killing 130,000 people, if you want to use that most conservative number that Deborah Birx laid out last week on sworn testimony before Congress. And she was there. She was his COVID advisor. She was in the room through all that stuff. And she's saying, yeah, he killed 130,000 people. Why the hell isn't somebody prosecuting him? Why isn't this? Good.
Just the recording where he was talking to that one reporter. Just that alone should be evidence enough of him of murder.
What are you talking
about? Blowing it off like, oh, you know. You remember when he was that book that guy wrote when COVID first started? He had that interview over the phone with Trump.
Oh, Woodward's first book.
His name.
Yeah, where Woodward. Yeah, where Trump told Woodward back in January, "This thing is a killer. Yeah. This is way worse than the flu, but I'm not going to. What was the phrase used?
Yeah, he's just going to blow it. It's nothing. It's
I'm going to downplay it. Right, because I don't want to cause a panic. Right, 700,000 dead people because he didn't want to cause a panic. Give me a friggin' break. Yeah, Mark is spot on.
Evidence enough.
Yeah, I'm completely with you. Mark, thank you. That was a good. Sharon in Chesapeake, Virginia. Hey, Sharon, how's the election going there?
Hey, how are you? First time calling in to any talk show.
Well, thank you, Sharon.
I just can't understand why we can't find any Republicans that will vote for the Better bill. I mean, none of them have a backbone. I just don't understand it. And I hate to think it's because of the color of my skin as an African-American woman born in 1963, but I think so. And the last caller, what about Fauci? Why didn't Fauci speak up? He's sitting back there on the press show, you know, not saying a word. He knew.
Knew what?
That coronavirus was going to kill people.
Oh, he was speaking up. The one error that Anthony Fauci made, if you want to call it an error, was in the first few months in January, February, and March. There was a run on masks in the United States, and they literally hospitals were running out of masks because we got them all from China. And during January, early January, when China was having problems, Trump actually shipped millions of masks from the United States to China. and which is bizarre. And so we ran out of masks. Fauci went on TV and said, please don't go buy masks. We need them for the hospitals. And you know, in retrospect, that was a big mistake. But that's the only he's ever said that I think was a screw. He walked that back a week later.
Yeah, that press conference when he was about drink chlorine, and he just puts his
Trump.
hand in his head. Really? Really?
Yeah, yeah. You know, what Trump has done is obscene. And to your question of why not a single Republican will vote for the Build Back Better bill, it's very simple, Sharon. In 1980, with the election of Ronald Reagan, the Republican Party completely sold out to the billionaire class and the big corporations. They changed American policy. They changed our trade policy. They changed our banking policy. They changed our tax policies. They reconfigured the entire country to benefit the very rich. And that's why 5 years ago, when Reagan came into office, 65% of Americans were in the middle class. 5 years ago, it fell below 50%. It's now in the 40s. And, you know, this is pure Reaganomics. And the Republican Party is completely sold out, as are a small handful of Democrats. In this case, Kyrsten Sinema and Joe Manchin. I give you two sold-out Democrats. But with the Republican Party, that's all they've got is you know, being racists and being sold out. That's it. And so, you know, I think you nailed it. And thanks a lot for the call. And thanks for calling into a talk radio show. Thanks for listening to Sirius XM. Great to hear from you. Have a great day. We will be back. Let's see, what's next? Oh, yeah, Citizens United. How is that going to dictate our future? Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Where is our media? Stick around. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Thom Hartmann.
These companies support the Thom Hartmann Program. They are HelloFresh, the #1 meal kit delivery system.